Hey everybody, it's another lunchtime vlog. Woo! So today I am coming to you so that we can, I don't exactly know how I'm gonna do this, but I definitely want y'all to interact with me in the comments, because the whole point of this video is to gather information. And so I want to kind of just explain some things, and then I want to start asking questions, and I really want people to provide me with feedback on the questions, because I'm genuinely interested in hearing what people have to say. So let me just start off by saying today's not nearly topic of conversation is going to be surrounded around, or going to be around, what are your favorite places to travel while cruising? Okay, so I know right now, like, we leave out of Galveston, and the runs out of Galveston are pretty much, the same. And if you've done one, you've done them all, etc., etc., etc. Now, there's one run for a fact that I have not done, and that's the one that goes to Costa Maya, Belize, and I think Cozumel. I haven't been to Costa Maya, and I haven't been to Belize, and I really want to go to Belize. So I'm asking these questions because I am working on getting my passport so that we don't have to go out of the country by ship, that we can travel any way we want, because we'll have our passport. And obviously, anybody who's gotten their passport, that that's a process. So anyway, and I wasn't always cruising. I just recently, like last year, started cruising because of my best friend. My husband asked me for years and years and years about going on a cruise ship, and I was just too scared. So I decided for his birthday, I was actually going to gift him with the cruise, because he's been asking me to go with him on the cruise, and we had a blast. So back up, the way that we used to travel, since I was a kid and even into my adulthood and after I had children, was by car. We traveled by plane. I did fly, I've always flown and stuff, but especially, as a kid, and then travel by car, like with my dad when we used to go to family reunions and all that sort of thing. So I have been to different states before. There are quite a few states that I've never been to that I would love to go and visit, but I need to know what to do when I get there. I don't want to just go to a state and you really don't even know, like, what they're well known for, what to explore, places to visit, things like that. So there are some places that I want to fly to. I don't want to drive anymore. I really rather fly, or, whatever. I'll even consider train. I've only traveled by train once, and that was with my grandmother. So, excuse me. Anyway, so yeah, as a kid, I did a lot of flying. So when I became an adult, got married, had kids, for a family of 4, it was just outside of our budget for us to fly. So we used to travel by car everywhere. And, of course, the kids got a chance to visit and things like that, different states. But it was really just where our family lives. We really didn't venture outside of where we had family to visit. And so now that's why this is so special for us, especially as a family, to travel to places we've never been, and not, inside the United States, because we figure we can go anywhere in the United States at any time. So we're actually going to be traveling. Let's, travel. If we're going to be taking a lengthy vacation, let's travel outside the United States. So I want to know, because I know that, like I said, we leave out of Galveston. This last cruise we left out of New Orleans, but I also noticed that a lot of the runs out of New Orleans is very similar to the ones out of Galveston. But when you start looking at the runs that are out of Florida, out of California, they even have a port in Norfolk, Virginia. I want to say the port in Norfolk, when I looked up the runs that are out of there, is like to Alaska, Bermuda, different places like that. And so if there is anybody out there who, and I'm sure there are, because there's a lot of people who do a lot of traveling, a lot of cruising and stuff like that. You don't just do like the Mexico and Bahamas and Jamaica and stuff like that. You do other runs that go to different places. And I also noticed that the ones, I want to say I saw that there was like, besides the 7-day ones, there were like 10, 14, 21, those. And I'm sure those go like way out, because I know that they have uh, a run somewhere, like it's like Asia. They have something, a European run, different places like that. So what I would like for you all to do is leave me a comment about like your favorite places to visit while cruising. And if you have been anywhere outside of the places that I've mentioned, please leave that down in the comment section below. And if you could also leave like details of, maybe there was something specific that you did when you got off the ship, something that like these places are very well known for. Um, if you were on a particular ship and it wasn't Carnival, maybe it was Royal Caribbean, maybe it was Virgin, maybe it was. So the other thing is, I want to ask y'all, because I saw this, we were docked somewhere and I can't remember where it was. Might have been on the Bahamas run that I did, but we were docked with a celebrity cruise ship. What is that all about? So is that just the name of the cruise line, or like is there some meaning behind celebrity? Like, what is, I've never heard of that cruise line before. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't know a whole lot about, I know the ones that are the most popular. Like I said, Carnival, Royal Caribbean, Virgin. They now have one for what is the name that it's named after a hotel, the Ritz-Carlton. The Ritz-Carlton has a ship or a cruise line. Who else that I've seen? So I've seen that celebrity, and I can't remember, but I want y'all to weigh in on not just the places, but I know everybody is coming down on Carnival, saying Carnival is like the Walmart of the cruise lines and everything, because they've made their prices so affordable that they feel like the people that are taking these cruises now are not of a certain class. They're kind of ghetto or whatever. And my thing is, truth be told, ghetto comes in all shapes, sizes, and colors. And you will find it in no particular location, because you can find someone who has that behavior or that mentality, and you don't have to be black. In a fancy restaurant, they just call it something different. Those people who are they're not melanated and they behave a certain way, they're I guess they don't call that being ghetto. I'm not really sure what they call it. But at the end of the day, you know all these negative connotations and things like that, that people have with people of a certain race or whatever, it's almost like saying that, if you don't fit a certain, check off certain boxes and don't look a certain way, that you don't deserve the cruise. And I just think that's crazy. Now, let me tell you something. I truly feel like, especially those who have children, who allow their kids to just run all over the place, because I know on one cruise, them kids was throwing ice. They were having a ice fight in the area, the like where they do the buffets and stuff like that. And it was later on in the evening, and they almost like hit this elderly couple with ice. And I'm not talking about one piece of ice, I'm talking about ice was flying everywhere, and this couple could have been injured by these kids throwing ice. And then we had another situation where, the kids were teenage or whatever, and their parents letting them just kind of roam around the ship, and they were caught having sex in the hot tub and all kinds of stuff. And so stuff like that to me is just ridiculous. It is definitely something that could be handled if the parents would just accept the responsibility of managing their kids. But a lot of times what happens is the parents go on vacation, and they feel like since they're on vacation from being a parent. And that's not the case. And they figure, I guess, the kid is not going to come up missing because where are they going to go? They're on the ship, right? And I understand that, but only to a certain degree. Because the other thing is that on a completely different cruise, there were kids, I want to say maybe 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, running up and down the hall, knocking on and banging on people's door all time, waking people up. And it wasn't a one-time thing. It was a constant. They literally was running from one end of the ship to the other end of the ship, knocking on people's, bamming on people's doors, and just they running, and knocking and running. And it's like, where are your parents? Where are your parents? This is crazy. So I don't want to just talk about the negative things on the cruise ship, because I love cruising. It's gonna be a hit or miss with the food. Ain't no point in complaining, because you know what you signed up for. Yes, you want the food to be good because it's supposed to be included in your package. But at the same time, you can pick and choose, what you're going to experience on the ships. And I think that even on a 4-day cruise, there's enough time for you to decide, and enough times, opportunities for you to eat, for you to figure out what to stay away from and what to gravitate towards. So the cruise experience is what you make it. It's all, it is, everybody's experience is not going to be the same. And then for some people, because I'm in some of these cruise groups, I always join a cruise group for the cruise that I'm going to be on. And some of the people that's on these cruise groups, to me, they just doing the most. They say a lot of things, and it's like you would think that they were staying at this 5-star hotel, expected to eat, gourmet food and, things like that. If they got to stand in a line for too long, if they, it's like they're looking for things to complain about. Now, are there things to complain about? Of course there are. There's a lot of things you could complain about, but is it worth it? You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it may not necessarily be worth it, because you don't want certain things to overshadow your entire cruise experience. So I have had I've mostly had good experiences. Even on the ship when I took my daughter on her cruise. Let me tell you something. That ship rocked from one side to the other. We rolled through a storm, and about 85% of the people on that ship was in their cabin for 24 hours throwing up because they got seasick. And the ship ran out of seasick patches. They ran out of Dramamine. They ran out of everything, because so many people on that ship got seasick from the ship rocking back and forth. And I had heard from some people who had cruised for years, like they're like platinum. That was one of the worst cruises that they had ever been on. I also heard for some people that they don't cruise during the month of December, because the temperature of the water causes the waves in the ocean to behave differently, and it causes the boat to rock more. So I said, I had a good time on my cruise. I was glad to be on my cruise. I didn't like all the rocking and rolling, but at the end of the day, what I took away from that wasn't that I had a horrible cruise. What I walked away from that experience saying to myself is, I know not to cruise in December. So, like my daughter said, her birthday is in December. That's what this was all about. But she said that she don't have a problem whatsoever cruising early to celebrate her birthday early, so that she can still be able to cruise. Because even her, she was sick. Oh my goodness. My daughter, she has IBS. So that IBS on top of that seasickness wasn't no joke. But let me tell you, my baby put on them C-bands, and once we hit land, it's like the ship was just vacant, because everybody who had been on the ship throwing up and everything the day before, they couldn't wait to get off that ship. They could not wait to get off that ship. And so, it was a lot of people just, moving around and stuff. And so my daughter was glad to touch down on land, but she did some damage to the food and the drinks once we got back on the ship, because she was feeling so much better, and I'm so glad. But I want to hear what you guys think about, like, some of your favorite places to visit when you're cruising. I want to hear what you think about like the different cruise lines. Which one might be your favorite? Which one is your least favorite? Why? Do you like cruising with your family versus maybe cruising with your friends? Have you ever solo cruised? That's a good one. And because I know there are some people who are solo cruising, because that's the one thing I noticed that in those the cruise groups too, sometimes people will say, well, I'm cruising by myself, I'm looking to make friends, between the ages of da 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 this, that, and the other. And is there anybody here? And they connect with them. And then once they get on the ship, they hanging out and spending time. So I don't know what that's like. I'm not really sure if I would be one that the solo cruise, because I like spending time with my husband and kids and my best friend. So plus it's like when you're solo cruising and you don't have anybody to share like the different experiences with, it just seemed like it would hit differently. Because that's how I am. Like when I used to go to movies and stuff by myself, I'd be in there rolling or whatever emotion I'm feeling and be wanting to reach over and slap somebody's leg, but there ain't nobody there. So it's like, I don't know, how do you do that? But I guess, if that's the stage in your life where you're just doing stuff by yourself, you'll figure out how to connect with people and stuff like that. So I just haven't been single, solo, whatever, for such a long period of time in my life that I'm not even sure if I would know how to navigate that. But yeah, so we're talking cruising today. I'm curious to know because I definitely want to get some ideas I do have a cruise coming up. I'm very excited about that. I also have another vacation coming up we're traveling by plane. But the other thing is, because my husband and I, we used to make these lists where we kept track of things that we either never did or never did together. And those are the things that we will focus on so that when we needed to make plans to travel or do anything, maybe go out for a date or something, we had a list that we could look at and like pick from things that, either we haven't done or we've never done together. And that way we would be able to explore things in a more exciting way. So one of the things that he and I, for years and years and years and years, one of our anniversaries, we were supposed to go to Egypt. And at the time that I was looking into getting our passport and doing the research to find out where we would stay when we were over there and the culture and the food and all this other kind of stuff, a war broke out. And they advised against any Americans traveling to Egypt at that time. So then we had to kind of figure out what were we going to do instead. And we've never come full circle with going to Egypt. We still want to go to Egypt, but we haven't discussed anything in detail about going to Egypt. But he did say he wanted to go, when we went on his cruise and this cruise for my son, we went to Jamaica. And I have a few friends who are native Jamaicans. And so I'm going to be pulling on them for some advice and things like that, because that's one of the trips that we want to take, hopefully in 2025, to go to Jamaica and stay in a full service. I think that's what the all-inclusive resort. And the other thing is my one of my friends, because I was like, I'm gonna have to contact you because I need to know which all-inclusive resort we should stay in. And he said or something else. I have to look at the term he used, because the term reminded me of like an Airbnb. So I'm like, I didn't even know that was an option. So I'm curious to see what recommendations he makes. I know that they have a place there called Sandals. Sandals, I'm sure, is very pricey because it is highly advertised, but I know that can't be the only one that's there. And one of the reasons I want to stay at an all-inclusive resort is because I've never done anything like that before. I want to experience it, because I know that it includes your food and your drinks. And I definitely want to make sure that we get, if they have them, because I don't know how they do that, instead of 2 rooms, to maybe get like a suite that has 2 rooms in it, if that makes sense. And then that way, me, my husband, and my kids, we can all stay together, but we have our privacy because we have our own private sleeping areas. I really would like, if it's within our budget, to be able to get one of those rooms, because I know some of those rooms have like a private pool or jacuzzi or something like that, but definitely some kind of water for us to just sit and enjoy each other without having a whole bunch of people around. If we're not able to get that, at least it would be nice to have it in an area where we can enjoy the water outside of going to the beach. So and then this will be different because my husband does not want to cruise over there. He actually wants to fly over there, which is another reason we have to get our passport and everything. So again, I'm working on that, and hopefully one of the reasons I had to kind of wait, I was getting stuff together, but I had to kind of wait, is because my husband's work schedule. And I need to make sure that because he's about to have a change in his schedule, and I need to make sure that when I start calling around or Googling the locations and stuff that have those appointments, that they actually have appointments that fit for both of us to go at the same time. And that's how I'm gonna kind of get things started. So I'm excited. I have a lot going on as far as like some change in my work stuff, career goals and educational goals pertaining to my career, and life goals and changes in my with my business. I'm going to be doing some minor rebranding. Like I said, one of my other videos, you might not notice it on the front end, but there's some changes that's going to be happening on the back end because there's certain like certain terminology that I won't be using anymore to describe the type of business that I have, or to describe the type of services I offer. And I'm really going to be pushing TH Green and Company out there because I need to get my butt in gear. I am behind, uh, geez, about 5 years behind schedule with our retirement plan. But there was a lot that happened in those 5 years. And the things that happened, it was absolutely critical for me to focus on those things in order to help my family get in a healthier place. So now we're all in a place where we can kind of independently focus on the things that we want and the things that we need, and we don't have to depend on each other so heavily. It frees me up so that I can start trying to push my business, and y'all working on these streams of income, because y'all know how life is. When it comes time for you to retire, you have to make sure that your ducks are in a row, and you have to make sure that the money is coming in, but you also have to make sure that you are able to enjoy your retirement. You don't want to have to extend your working if you don't need to, but you also don't want to put yourself in a situation where now that you're retired, the only thing that you could afford is to pay your bills. I want to be able to retire and make sure that my husband has the same ability to be able to retire, so that we can travel together and that we can actually enjoy each other's company without having to worry about, you know, deciding between the lights and the food, or, being able to go to a movie, or, just whatever. So nobody wants to be in a situation where you can't afford to live and be happy at the same time. So that's why I'm asking all these questions, because I have so many things that I want to do, and it's almost like I feel like I'm anxious now because, I done got bit by the traveling bug. My husband's already a person that loves to travel. My daughter done got bit by the traveling bug, and now my son done got bit by the traveling bug. And what we've discovered is that, yes, they want to be able to eventually travel with their friends because they're adults, but they, like me, enjoy traveling as a family, because we all kind of feed off of each other. Yes, we have our moments where we get on each other's nerves, but we wouldn't have it any other way, because we just, we roll through life, and things that are sometimes stressful, we find ourselves laughing at it, and just saying, dad, this almost took us out, but we still here, and glad you was there to help me, because, man, et cetera, et cetera. So that's what I love about my family, is that we don't shy away from challenges and things like that, especially when we are faced with challenges together as a family. And we embrace people into our fold depending on, the situation. So I just really, I want to do more traveling with my family. I want to do more traveling with just me and my husband as well. And me and my best friend. And I really want to, I'm not going to say sheltered, but there's so much to learn. You know what I'm saying? And so, because I remember when I had a conversation with my boss and I was telling her about the cruise, the very first cruise that we were going on. And I, when I was talking to her, she was like, Jamaica. And I was like, yeah, Grand Cayman or whatever. And I thought Grand Cayman was a part of Jamaica because I knew the only other stop that we were going to was Cozumel. And I knew Cozumel wasn't Jamaica, wasn't part of Jamaica. But I had no idea that Grand Cayman wasn't part of Jamaica. That was something completely different in the Cayman Islands. And so when she said that, I kind of looked at her and I felt super stupid. But here's the thing. I told myself I'm not gonna feel stupid no more, because if I don't know something, I don't know something. Geography was not something I was interested in school. I've always been interested in the culture, the people, the language, the food of different places, but I've never mastered or even like really allowed myself to understand like where certain places were outside the United States. So when they start talking about the Arctic Ocean and, this part of the world and this is part of this continent, it's not a country, and it's, things like that, I'll be like, man, if you give me a map, I got you. I'll be like, okay, I understand that now. And I'm one of those kind of people. It's like once I learn something the first time, I remember it. I may not be able to remember it off the top of my head, but if you happen to mention it to me, I'll be like, oh yeah, because I remember that, stuff like that. Especially if I have something to relate it to, because y'all remember I told you I'm real good with analogies and stuff like that. So I want to just really get out there and explore like different places. And I want to be able to say, before my time is up, I want to be able to say that, I have traveled, not everywhere that I've ever wanted to go, but I have traveled to the point where I enjoyed my life because I explored things outside of my own bubble, and that's what I encourage my kids and stuff to do. So y'all help a girl out, giving me some destinations, even if it's outside of cruising. If you have a favorite country, a favorite continent, a favorite region of the world that you like to travel to, maybe once every few years or however often, leave me some information and kind of share with me your experience. Tell me why you feel like that's just a place that you gravitate towards, and what emotional connection you made to this place that you just can't help yourself but to continue to go back. So I really want to hear from you. And if you are not subscribed to my channel, you're new here, thank you for coming. Please hit that subscribe button. Make sure you click that bell, turn it to all so that you don't miss any of my uploads. And make sure you give me a like for this video. Those of you who are part of the fam bam, thank you for rocking with me. I appreciate you supporting me. And please continue to do so. Make sure you share out my video. Share. And leave me a comment about, where you've been. Where's your favorite place to travel while cruising or otherwise? And give me some details. Okay? Share. If you're not already a member of the Fetch fam, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and download that app, scan my QR code, and get to scanning those receipts. You might as well take advantage of it. You're already spending the money. The receipts translates into points, the points translates into cash, and you can redeem that cash via store card or cash card, or you can donate to charity. Well, all right, we're going to go ahead and get out of here, but we don't do so without saying, love yourself, love somebody else, and until next time, y'all take care. Bye.